So, it is the end of another year, and time to look back at something that magazines have been doing for years, and that is the highlights of this past year. And the highlights of this past year mean that some people are getting awarded. Because every year, wrestling magazines like the Wrestling Observer Newsletter and Pro Wrestling Illustrated give out year-end awards to the tops in wrestling. And I have ran polls over the last couple weeks to determine the top names or the most deserving competitors for certain awards as voted by you, the fans, on Twitter. So, before I get into this, I just want to let you guys know that I am getting over a cold, so if you hear me, if I sound a little raspy or if I start coughing and go on a coughing fit, I'm not dying. I am just still getting over a cold, so bear with me. But with that being said, let's get to our first award, because the first award in the 2016 Wrestling Express year-end award season is the Feud of the Year, which, as voted by you, the fans, has been determined to be the feud between the phenomenal AJ Styles and John Cena that took place at the end of the summer, or over the summer this past year, which officially gave AJ the right to the name The Face That Runs the Place, and once he won the WWE World Heavyweight title from Dean Ambrose, he captured the name The Champ That Runs the Camp. Because for the first time in quite a while, AJ Styles can lay claim to being one of the first people to actually win a feud against John Cena. But either way, that as voted by you, the fans, was the feud of the year this year for 2016. And now we move to the match of the year. And the match of the year actually just happened at NXT TakeOver Toronto, as it was the 2 out of 3 Falls Tag Team title match between DIY and The Revival for the NXT Tag Team titles. And I must say that even though I was there live for NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, I actually enjoyed NXT TakeOver Toronto's tag team title match a little bit more, and not just because of the finish. You see, I feel like that was the perfect match, because it had drama. It didn't overexpose false finishes and overexpose the finishing moves. As far as I'm concerned, finishing moves in NXT are very protected. Very protected. Because you very rarely, if ever, see teams or anybody, especially tag team finishers are protected. But you very rarely see people kick out of finishing moves. And when you do, it's shocking, not expected. That's how it should be. Finishing moves should be protected. And that is exactly what it was like in the tag team match, because you did not see one time a pin get broken up without help. Especially if it was a finishing move. But it was the perfect match and the perfect ending, and I couldn't be prouder to see Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa now hold gold in NXT. And not just because I've basically watched Ciampa and Gargano come up through the ranks of not just WWE, but of wrestling in general, because I've seen I was watching Tommaso from the time he debuted in Ring of Honor, and I've also been watching Johnny since about a year or two before he became Dragon Gate USA Heavyweight Champion, which is the title he held for almost 2 years back a few years ago. But I am very proud of both Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa and the Revival, because there is no doubt in my mind that they stole the show at NXT TakeOver Toronto and are the embodiment of why the tag team division in NXT has always been better than the one in WWE. Always been better. And I just want to give props to both tag teams, DIY and the Revival, as they both made a run for another award, and that other award is the Wrestling Express Tag Team of the Year for 2016. But those winners are the only award, as far as I know, that does not have anything to do with the WWE, because the Tag Team of the Year is the award I will get to next. But I just want to give props to DIY and the Revival for winning the match of the year this year and putting forth one of the best tag team matches I have seen in a very long time, and stealing the show in NXT TakeOver Toronto. So, with that being said, and so I can stop giving props to the NXT Tag Team division, let's move on to the Tag Team of the Year. And as I mentioned, the Revival and DIY made a run for the Tag Team of the Year, as well as DIY made it to the finals, but was beaten out by the winners. And the winners of the Tag Team of the Year for the Wrestling Express 2016 award are Broken Matt Hardy and Brother Nero, the Hardy Boys. That's right, Matt and Jeff are the Tag Team of the Year this year for wrestling, as voted by you, the fans, because with all the negative press that TNA received, with all the negative, all the lawsuits and all the hubbub that happened surrounding TNA, and the doubt that was that the company's future was enthralled in, there was always one bright spot, and that one bright spot was Broken Matt Hardy. Now, I will be honest with you, and I will say that Broken Matt Hardy's a little bit too over the top for me. I don't like the gimmick. I don't. But it's obvious that Matt Hardy is doing something right, because I'm not one of the people that write off a gimmick just because I don't like it. And you will see that in the TNA Let's Play, that which is upcoming, that's the truth. Cheap plug. But fact of the matter is, excuse me. But fact of the matter is, either way, Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy's renaissance this year has been incredible, and one of the best things, if not one of the only good things about TNA wrestling this year, and one of the few good bright spots of the company. And also, you talk about how Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy are looking for the greatest tag teams in the world to come and face the Hardy Boys. And you also talk about how the Hardys are going to Ring of Honor to face the Young Bucks. Well, what TNA should do is send some young talent there that they have. Some young talent, like Mandrews. Or send the send a Knockout to have her face one of the to have her face one of ROH's women. Just send someone else there to gain a little bit more exposure for the company. I'm not saying have a co-promoted show. I'm saying with the Hardys, have the Hardys bring some other TNA guys with them, and have other TNA guys on the show with Matt and Jeff. Because it would be a perfect way to gain exposure for TNA. And who cares? Who cares? Record the show. Record the match. Put it in a highlight video. You know? Have Matt Hardy in one of his promos show the Hardys versus the Young Bucks. Because do you really not think the TNA fans would want to see that match? But, you know, excuse me, I was at Final Battle a couple weeks ago. I was there in the Manhattan Center, and you should have heard the pop, the shock and awe when the lights went out following the Briscoes versus the Bucks, and Broken Matt Hardy came on the screen. You should have heard the pop. People were excited to see Matt Hardy. People were excited about the concept of the Hardys versus the Bucks. And people still are. That's what Matt Hardy has done. That's what Matt Hardy has done, because you ask, where does Matt Hardy work? Matt Hardy works in TNA. That's a good association for a struggling company. Matt Hardy is working by himself to stabilize, and Jeff Hardy, I should add, are working by themselves to help stabilize TNA and bring some stability to a broken company. And that's why they are not only the best thing going in TNA, but one of the best things going in pro wrestling, and that's why they were undoubtedly an easy selection for this year's Tag Team of the Year. And now we move forward. Now we move to 2016's Wrestler of the Year. And 2016's Wrestler of the Year is... Stop the drum roll, even though there was none. I can imagine. The 2016 Wrestler of the Year was, or is, the phenomenal AJ Styles. And if you sit here and you say, oh, Kenny Omega, or The Miz, or this person, or that person, think about this. Go back to January 4th, 2016. That would be Monday, January 4th, 2016. I say Monday, January 4th, 2016 because January 4th was when New Japan Pro Wrestling had Wrestle Kingdom 10. And AJ Styles, in many respects, stole the show with Shinsuke Nakamura. His first match of the new year, AJ tore the house down with Shinsuke Nakamura. And Shinsuke, to be fair, has had an amazing year as well. But then, something happened that nobody expected. Shinsuke Nakamura, AJ Styles, Doc Gallows, and Carl Anderson gave in their papers, gave in their notice to Gato of New Japan's booking committee, saying that they were leaving and heading to the United States, and specifically, they were heading to WWE. And AJ Styles, in 3 weeks after stealing the show at the Tokyo Dome for Wrestle Kingdom, stole the show at the Royal Rumble. Because he had the loudest pop of the match. He had the loudest reaction, bar none. In recent memory, that is the loudest I've heard a surprise entry get. Even though everybody knew he was coming, nobody thought he would. And nobody would have known that AJ was going to get the reaction that he did when he did show up. Nobody could have known. All throughout the match, all you heard was AJ Styles. AJ Styles. Clap, 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 clap. AJ Styles. And of course, when AJ didn't win, the fans booed. Luckily, it was Kevin Owens, so Kevin Owens, made light of the situation. And then you fast forward. AJ jumps right into a feud with Y2J Chris Jericho. Your first feud in a WWE is with a legend like Jericho. And then you lose at WrestleMania and then get a shot against the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, Roman Reigns. 2 months in a row, by the way. 2 months in a row. He loses that. And then goes into a feud with John Cena. And becomes one of the first people in recent memory to actually stand in the ring and say that I beat John Cena in a feud. I beat John Cena in a feud, and now I take his nickname. And AJ Styles has been called from that point forward the face that runs the place. There is no doubt in my mind that you cannot find someone on the WWE roster, on TNA's roster, in New Japan, that deserves more to be called Wrestler of the Year for 2016. Because the quality of match for AJ Styles every single time he's called upon, to be fair, excluding Chris Jericho's match at WrestleMania, because that wasn't a 5-star match, but it wasn't terrible. But either way, every time he's been called upon in a big spot, he's delivered. And as far as I'm concerned, he's delivered thus far as WWE World Heavyweight Champion, and will continue to deliver as we head into 2017. And the possibilities are endless, what the future holds for AJ Styles, because you could not have expected a better year for the Phenomenal One in his debut year here in the WWE. But that is my choices for the year-end awards, for the Wrestling Express year-end awards. Let me know in the comment section below if you agree. And if you do agree, let me know which awards you agree with and which awards you disagree with. And if you want to get my thoughts on a particular award that I didn't put up to vote, let me know that in the comment section below, because I want to hear from you. But if you don't want to leave a comment, you could always leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this that you can only find right here at Wrestling Express. Till next time. Later.